We'll call the meeting of the Ripon City Council for Tuesday, April 9th to order. We will have the stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. Mr. DeGraff, if you'll do the honors.
Everybody repeat after me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm just moving my chair.
So you can lean on
Hello, everyone. My name is Pastor Mark Van Dyke, and I'm pastor at Ammon Valley Christian Reformed Church, about 3 blocks south on Wilma. Let's pray. Our Lord, as we gather in this place, in this beautiful town, in this place that you have made, we begin by recognizing our need for you, our constant need for your provision, not just your provision of blessing, but your provision of safety in our town. And so we pray that what is decided during this meeting would be to the furtherance of your kingdom and would be in accordance with your good will. We pray that you would fill city council members and support staff and our first responders, especially with your Holy Spirit, so that they would understand how it is that you want our town to function. We pray that you will continue to give blessing to our town and that you would help these men and women to be filled with your wisdom and your understanding of how you have made this world to work. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Mike Rasucia.
Present.
Dean Euchre.
Here.
Daniel DeGraff. Vice Mayor Jake Parks.
Here.
Mayor Leo Zuber.
Here. The next item on the agenda is public discussion, which is time set aside for members of the audience to address the council. If there's anyone here who would like to address the council, if you'd go to the podium, give us your name and address, and we have a 5-minute limit.
Hello, Mayor, members of the council, and members of the public. My name is Victoria, and I'm from San Joaquin Regional Transit District, RTD. We're the public transportation system serving San Joaquin County. I'm here today to announce a new service that we're offering. It's called Van Go, and it is using vans. It is an on-demand rideshare service that's available all throughout San Joaquin County now, and it's serving Ripon. At the moment, it costs $4 for up to 4 people to travel one way anywhere within their service area zone, and we've divided the San Joaquin County into 4 separate zones. So there are North County zones, Central County, and 2 South County locations. Ripon is in a zone along with Escalon and Manteca, so you can travel anywhere in this area for $4 with 4 people one way, or $10 for an all-day pass throughout this zone. Additionally, there are free transfers onto any fixed route service within the county, and our vehicles are accessible and they're safe. Our drivers are licensed, they're trained, and they're prepared to help. We can fit up to 8 passengers within each van, and with 2 wheelchairs, we can fit up to 4 passengers. It's available 7 days a week, including holidays, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and weekends from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. There is also a discount fare that's available for those that qualify for the discount fare card, and that is for seniors ages 60 and over, those who are veterans, persons with disabilities, and others. And to book your trip, you can book as early as half an hour in advance using the Van Go app or by calling 800-4RIDE. And if you'd like more information, it's available on sjrtd.com/vango.
Before you sit down, why don't you tell them about our event tomorrow?
Yes, of course. I almost forgot. Thank you. There is an event that we'll be holding tomorrow at the Hagen Museum in Victory Park in Stockton. This event, there'll be raffles, prizes, it's free to the public, and there'll be, free hors d'oeuvres and refreshments, and there will be a few speeches by our CEO, Donna DiMartino, and other council members. Or, excuse me, not council members, but community members.
Just one quick question. You said that was inter-district, it was $4?
Yes,
Okay. Intra.
Inside the district.
inside.
Right. So what if you wanted to go outside?
Outside of the district, then you probably have to transfer onto a different fixed route service available outside of San Joaquin County, for
Okay,
example.
so Ripon would go to like Manteca, and then Manteca, from there you could go.
Yeah, you can travel anywhere within Ripon, Manteca, Escalon for that cost. But if you wanted to travel out, within the county, but outside of Ripon or Manteca, then you'd have to pay another fare.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. I'm in front of the Ripon, California City Council. My name is Mary Lynn Wheeler Reynolds, the outright, quote, raw land purchaser for $5,000, Lot 15. Nothing was built upon Lot 15 when I purchased Lot 15 from Mark Wilbur of McRoy Wilbur Communities Incorporated via a $5,000 Wells Fargo check, which was handed to sales rep Don Guy, an employee and relative of the builder Mark Wilbur. Mark Wilbur Communities Incorporated is a family-operated business. I want the record to reflect a grant deed number 01002761 proves that I am on title to lot number 15. I want the record to reflect Chicago Title Company document dated December 2nd, 2016 also indicates that I am on title to, quote, 1221 Sapphire Court, Ripon. Hence, two documents and my California driver's license indicate that I am on title, number one, to lot 15. Number two, it also indicates that I'm on title to residential building, 1221 Sapphire Court, Ripon, California. My driver's license also matches the address, 1221 Sapphire Court, Ripon, California, 95366. The point is, Ripon, California police officers had no right to arrest me because I am on title. Those are documents, proven documents, not an allegation, not assertion, but a fact. Now, unfortunately, I have not been able to locate a credible, competent, and attorney. Because if I was able to do that, and by the way, it's very difficult sometimes for African Americans to find good, qualified, competent attorneys. I had to fire two of my public defenders so I would not be in jail right now. That's the only reason why I'm not in jail, because I fired both of them. Lazy, incompetent. They didn't care about a black person's liberty, freedom, justice, and property. So that's what you have to face when you're black, dealing with racist, rogue cops. I consider you, Ripon, California police officers, each and every one of you who arrested me, to have performed a false arrest, a bogus arrest, a fraudulent arrest. And the last time I was in front of you, I read to you the definition of fraud regarding the La Liberty case. So it wasn't a case that I made up. You, Ripon, California police officers, fit the definition of fraud that I read the last time I was before you. And I hope to God that I can find a damn good attorney, because all of you need to be sued for fraud. Each and every one of the Ripon, California police officers have committed felonies. Quote, according to the Merriam Dictionary, a felony is a, quote, grave crime declared to be a felony by common law or by statute, regardless if punishment is actually imposed. In other words, you can be a felon, which all of you are, who were involved in arresting me, whether or not you are indicted. Now, I have written the United States Justice Department Criminal Division, And I'm hoping that somebody's going to have the courage to investigate Ripon, California police officers for engaging in fraud and for being felons. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name's Thomas Mulder, and I'm a senior at RHS.
And my name's Celia Diabru, and I'm a senior at Ripon Christian.
We have come here tonight just to let you guys know that we have, in collaboration with the United Club at RHS and some RC students with the leadership team, we have collaborated to create a free worship concert at RHS at the amphitheater. And we just wanted to let you guys know, put it in the record. It'll be on May 4th. It's a Saturday, and it will be at 5 p.m.
There will be worship bands from surrounding churches, food trucks, and entertainment for young kids. We're aiming to promote unity between the two schools and in the overall community. We hope to use this time that you allowed us to promote our concert to the council and to the public. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What time was that again?
It's at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Jason Laughlin with Assemblymember Heath Flora's office, just with a brief legislative update. This is part of our Fostering Safer Communities pledge. This is legislation authored by Assemblymember Flora. AB 367 would strengthen caregiver background checks. AB 401 would enhance DUI penalties for repeat DUI offenders. AB 900 would enforce utility wildfire safety compliance. What that basically means is it would allow us to clear our forests of all the brush, because these wildfires in California are preventable. In addition to that, AB 1499 would increase first responder presence in California's public education system from community colleges, state colleges, and of course K through 12. That is my update. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or the Assembly Member's office. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Anybody else? All right. Moving on. Next item, approval of the minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes from the regular meeting of March 12th and special meetings on March 15th and March 25th.
I move that we approve all 3.
Second.
Oops, I guess we gotta do this, don't we?
Yeah, we just got to be on the ball.
What? I gotta get here first. All right, motion carries. Next item, approval of the agenda as posted or amended. Any items from the consent agenda that anybody wants to pull? I guess I'm the only one. I want to pull 1.3A and 1.3B.
1.3A and B.
All right?
I'll make a motion.
Now we need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second. Oh, did you?
Second.
Left click. Yeah, right.
Last time.
It's complicated technology.
It's ridiculous. All right, next item, to approve the consent calendar as amended.
So moved. Second.
I know, I can't even keep up. All right, item 1.3A. Do we have a cost for the projects that are listed on this application or whatever it's called?
Yeah, the total cost is 2.5 million for those 4 projects. 3 of those you'll see kind of later tonight in the CIP program. And the other one is bidding next week, the Mulholland, California resurfacing project, yeah.
So the staff report says we're gonna get a little over $262,000 from SB 1. Next question, where's the other 2.25 million gonna come from?
Yeah, that's from some of our other revenue sources for the street and road fund. So our highway user tax, LTF, along with SB 1.
Some of the city money that we put aside every year, does that figure into it too?
It doesn't figure into that account. That's a separate street and road reserve fund.
Okay,
So that doesn't go into this same account.
so we think we can do these without getting into the street and road fund?
No, I guess if you're asking that we can do this with only the SB 1 funds?
No, I know
Or
we
the
can.
reserve fund, you mean?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, these
Okay.
projects would be completed without using the reserve fund.
okay. That was my only question. And 1.3B, my question is, for this one, is whether or not some of this money that this is money we get every year from COG, right? Can some of that money, does it have to go to street and road work, or can we use some of it for striping too? Because we've got some intersections and stuff in this town that if you're gonna depend on what's on the road to tell you whether to stop or what direction to go, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no, absolutely it can be. Striping, signage, all of that can be used.
Okay,
So we're currently doing a survey of the striping and plan on adding it on to one of these upcoming projects.
Okay. That's all I had. So now we need a motion to approve 1.3A and B.
So move.
All right, motion is approved. Is there someone here from the Women's Center Youth and Family Services? Apparently not. So we will hold on to this and we'll get it to them, all right? Okay. Moving on. Next item is item 2A, ordinances. This is the ordinance, second reading and adoption for the ordinance, the changes to the park rules.
Yes,
Who's
thank you.
handling that one?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, this is the second reading on the park rule changes. There was some corrections from the previous one with the defining golfing activities and the community center. Where it reads the community center, it says Veterans Park / Community Center. That name has been changed. The park was originally the Community Center Park, and then in 1976, it became Teeman Park, and then in 1998, it was Veterans Park, and then it got changed back. So Ted and I are going to work on cleaning up the signage. We will put the correct park name in there. We do have the Veterans Park is the park downtown with the museum, with the Veterans Memorial Wall. That's the actual Veterans Park, where the community center is Teeman Athletic Park, and we're going to clear that up in this document and work on other city documents if it's not already listed correctly there. So I did want to clear that up. I think the other changes, other than that, have already been made, and we're just ready for the second reading.
Katie, can we do a second reading and adoption and just say that we approve the change that he's made, and then it would go into effect with whatever they come up with?
We can. This is a minor change that's clarification, grammatical sort of correction. So it is a minor change that can be approved. Second reading today.
So in effect, we would need a motion to, how do we adopt adopt the ordinance with the change that was recommended? Okay. Anybody want to step up?
So moved.
Second.
kidding. All right. Motion is approved. 2B is ordinance number 884, and this is also second reading and adoption for the ordinance that was adopted at the last meeting about the changes in dimension regulations for the building code for accessory structures. Who's doing this one?
Yeah, that's mine. That's second reading and adoption in front of you this evening. It went so well last time since I wasn't here, so I'll just turn it back over to you to see if you have any questions.
To who? Me?
Any of you guys have questions on it? I think last time you didn't have any questions. You were satisfied with the first reading and introduction.
Oh.
I certainly didn't hear any complaints that night. I was homesick, so be happy to answer any questions if you have any, though.
I'll make a motion that we accept the great job that Ken did.
Second, the excellent job that was done.
Wish you were sick more often.
Jeez.
He didn't mean it, Ken. Excellent job.
All right, motion carries. Item 2C is an ordinance. This is a first reading and introduction for Chapter 9.32 skateboard facilities. Mr.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading. May 2018, an ordinance was passed after we met with some citizens that wanted to allow scooters in the park. It was allowed on a trial basis, and within a year's time, we were going to bring this back to the council. Probably every month or two, I would head over to the chief's office and ask if he had any additional concerns, complaints, problems with allowing scooters in the park. And it had been determined that we haven't had any significant problems, and that we should probably move forward with recommending allowing that and just making the ordinance permanent. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions?
I do have a question. So, Kai, it doesn't define scooter. And if you look at scooter, you got four-wheel scooters, three-wheel scooters, you got scooters that people use at Save Mart. I think the intent is the two-wheel scooters, right? Can you better define it so that people don't go out there with their four? Yeah.
You know, I did have this conversation with the chief, and it probably was designed for the two-wheel, but we don't see a problem if someone took the four-wheel out. And we want to keep things as simple as we can for our police officers, so they don't have to, the two wheels allowed, the three wheels, this one's only got, you know,
Two's
two and a
twos,
half.
three's three. I mean, it's pretty simple.
And so he wanted to keep it simple. Certainly, if that's something that's really important to the council, we will make those changes. But when I met with the chief, he thought two wheels fine, three wheels fine, four. We just haven't had those type of issues where we thought it would be a problem.
I guess the reason I ask is because four-wheel scooters are not very safe. If you turn on one of those things like you do on a two-wheel, it's going to be a lot different than, you're going to roll it. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, we can look into that, but we haven't delineated which one. I'd like to see you operate both of them, but I try to stay off. I think they're all unsafe.
Me? I can do the four-wheel one. I can't do the two-wheel
My
one.
question is, what if it's a motorized scooter?
Yeah,
What if I take a Vespa in there?
Exactly.
It is a motorized scooter.
Exactly.
Is there anything that says no motorized powered?
We can add no motorized in if the council
It doesn't even have to
desires.
be for scooters, it could be for every. just
For-
no-
yeah.
Then that would eliminate the three and the fours because those do have motors.
Okay,
That'll do it.
we can make those changes.
Chief,
You're brilliant.
is it,
Just clarify a little.
is it
bit.
important that we keep the motorized stuff out of there?
Oh, yeah, I would say that anything that's motorized shouldn't belong in the skate park. When Parks and Rec Director Stevens and I were discussing the 2 to 3 and four-wheel scooters, we were under the impression that that was the non-motorized scooters that have multiple wheels. And my impression is we don't want officers out there counting how many wheels a scooter has, that a 5-year-old is in the bowl. and telling them they have to leave. We don't want to be in that business, and I think it's bad for everybody involved. So totally agree with the motorized versus non-motorized, but how many wheels that they have, I don't really have any heartburn with allowing juveniles in there with the multiple wheels. If it's unsafe, they do assume some liability, not only they, but their parents, allowing them to be in the bowl with unsafe equipment.
Yeah, I think the motorized probably eliminates most of those, but are you saying our cops can't count?
No, I'm saying we don't want to be in the business of rousting 5- and 6-year-old kids from skate parks.
Kidding, Chief, you don't have to answer that, I was kidding.
So then we can move to, adopt a first reading with the addition of the no motorized vehicles, and then that would be in there for the second reading.
Okay, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Moving right along here.
Yeah.
Item 3, discussion items, capital improvement program. Is this Mr. Peace?
Yeah, this would be me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Honorable City Council. So I'd like to kind of go over the report that you had. Hopefully you guys had a chance to go over the capital improvement program report. So we do this yearly. It provides a 5-year outlook on our upcoming capital improvement projects for the city with a focus kind of on the upcoming year. It allows us as staff to plan for our land acquisitions, our environmental design, and construction requirements on our upcoming projects. We use this kind of as a living document. It's a tool that we use in the budgeting process. And then we adjust it as needed as the needs of the community change. So kind of jumping into it, the projects that we select are kind of prioritized on our vital services to the community, such as water and wastewater, implementing the city's general master plans, the existing traffic patterns and associated improvements needed, the direction of City Council, and then lastly, the available funding. So looking back on last year's project summary, so the 2017-2018 year, we had 5 projects totaling $3.6 million. So these projects are not all quite complete, but we expect that they would be by the end of this fiscal year. 3.6 million total, 2 million from grant funds and 1.6 from local. Our Doak Boulevard shared use path and the Mount Holland, California resurfacing project are bidding next week, and then the other 3 are currently under construction. So this is something we kind of did last year too, but we wanted to kind of go into our street road fund and the kind of the project selection process for how the projects are selected to move forward with in the CIP. If you recall, we completed the pavement management plan at the end of 2016. We provide updates, or we planned on providing updates every 3 years, so at the end of this year. This slide kind of shows the results of that. I know it's a little hard to see. If you look at the blue, the green, and the kind of lighter green, those are all good to excellent condition roads that we have in town. The yellow, orange, and red are fair to poor conditioned roads. So we currently maintain 65 centerline miles of road. The roads that are kind of in good condition, those are more of the recent subdivisions that have been built. The blue that you see around is mainly the paver subdivisions. So that's a policy that we implemented about 15, 17 years ago. The condition of those roads are in very, very good condition.
James, quick question for you. What's the percentage of roads that would be classified as excellent, very good, or good versus the other ones?
So here, I'll jump into that right here.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
You talked to him ahead of time.
You know what? It was, we were texting. Yeah.
Ask me this.
So here you can kind of see those percentages, and you can kind of see it versus our last pavement survey that we did. So we had kind of a big gap between the 2010 and the 2016 survey. We're going to update this every 3 years. The kind of problem that we have is we don't have a lot of projects that go out. We try to get 1 to 2 out a year if possible. Sometimes there's a gap, though, depending on the funding. So you could see, though, in that 6-year span, it wasn't a huge jump, but we did get an increase in the overall PCI, which is the Pavement Condition Index. So it kind of leads us to believe that the process that we're moving forward with as far as resurfacing and trying to treat the roads that are in decent condition rather than going out to full reconstructs is working. So, and then within that survey, there was also this kind of future projects that we outlined and we had identified. Those are the general areas of those projects. You can see that project area 2, that's the project that's currently out to bid, and that will be bidding next week. The other 3 projects that you see there are included in the CIP for these upcoming 5 years. And then moving on, so this is kind of the meat of this as far as our street and road financial projections. So you can see on top there is our operating revenue, what we get from highway user tax, the LTF, Measure K, and then our recently Senate Bill 1 funds. It's usually around 1.5 million a year. Down to the operating expenses, we're right in between 600,000 to 700,000 a year. That second row from the bottom, it adds in the capital improvement projects for our street and road fund that we've got kind of listed. This lines up with the spreadsheet that you see in the capital improvement program report. So that takes that out, and then that final street and road ending balance at the bottom kind of gives you that bottom line. And I mentioned this in the report, but please keep in mind that LTF is, there's some changes that may be happening and most likely will be happening as far as the apportionment policy. SJCOG, the committees there, and the board of directors are looking at revising that policy. We're not exactly sure what it's going to mean, but one of the possibilities is that they would eliminate cities, or at least a portion of the funds that you receive, to use those LTF funds for street and road projects. So currently, the city, Ripon, uses 100% of our funds, our LTF funds, for street and roads. We can do that because we've shown that we have there's no unmet transit needs within the city. So just, that may change. They've talked about 50%, 25%. It's unknown at this time, but it's certainly something that may be coming to us. So all of these projections are showing us without losing the current kind of fund that we have, or the funds that we get right now from LTF. So just wanted you to keep that in mind. So then kind of moving on. So this just shows the north half of town. I got a slide next that shows the south half, but it just kind of shows the locations of some of our street and road maintenance that we've performed. Shows obviously all of the signs that you can see. Those yellow balloons indicate where we've performed asphalt repairs, pothole repairs. Each of those locations, there's multiple potholes. It's not just one here, one there. You're talking 10 to 15, sometimes 20 in certain locations. So that's what those yellow bubbles indicate. And then here's kind of the south half of town.
Can you go back to that?
Sure.
Line J.
Is all those yellow balloons on the left,
Yes.
is that Flying J?
Yeah, that's Flying J, Loves there. Yeah, that's Jacktone, Santos,
Okay.
some of Colony and Hoff. And then that top one up there is, River and Jacktone. So yeah, our public works crews are getting called out there, and there's obviously those trucks out there are doing quite a bit of damage. So and here's kind of the south half of town. You can see the yellow bubbles, obviously Stockton Avenue. In that area is where we get the majority of the calls, the majority of kind of dangerous conditions, where Ted and his public works guys get out there and do the pothole repair. The green bubbles that you see there are green balloons. Those are just curb and gutter or sidewalk kind of trip hazards that are performed as well. So,
Are those identified or repaired?
those are repaired.
The green bubbles?
Those are actual work performed, so they either removed and replaced a panel or ground at those locations to eliminate a tripping hazard. Those are areas that the city, I guess, would be at fault or responsible for, so.
Those, because like I had to fix the one in front of my office, but I had to do that.
Yeah, those won't be on here because it's not coming out of, but
These
we
here
do have a
were
log of those too.
City property. that-
Yeah, these are coming directly out of our operating expense, yeah, or street and road maintenance. So, and it's just kind of diving into the upcoming fiscal year 1920 street and road projects. So we've got our River Road overlay project. This project has kind of lagged a little. This was a little higher priority, but it's a little dependent on the current road widening project that's going on out there. We need to make sure we stagger this correctly and overlay that after that project is done. But that will be moving forward next year. And then the Orange Palm Resurface Project, which is another 3-layer system similar to the one that's coming out next week.
The River Road one runs from the roundabout all the way to Jacktone?
Correct,
Wow, okay.
yeah.
Except for the new
Yeah.
paved.
Yeah, so you have that new kind of 3 lanes where the subdivision is. We'll have the new 3 lanes with this widening portion, and then the overlay will be everything else.
Okay.
And then finally, our Stockton Avenue rehab project, so that one will get started this year, but it's kind of spanning, I guess it'd be 1920. It'll also go into 2021, just based on the actual start of construction for that project.
Do we
So,
know when that might be?
as far as the actual bid date,
Yeah.
or when we'd start, the goal is to get it out to bid at the end of this year and start construction sometime early next year. So,
The end of this calendar year?
correct, calendar
So
year.
construction would be in 2020 then?
Early 2020, most likely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of getting or moving away from the street and road, so just wanted to get into a little bit about how, or kind of how we determine kind of our water supply projects and our sewer treatment projects, I guess how we determine that. So this is kind of just a quick population projection, shows our max growth rate of 3%. If we were to grow at 3% in 2023, we'd be at 18,500. Kind of why that's important is here. So this slide here, this is our the state of our current water supply. So it's basically showing you what our wells are able to produce, as well as the demand, what the customers are actually using. Just allows us to determine when new wells are needed. So it shows that our total well capacity from 2018 is that solid red line up at the top. It shows it at 10 million gallons a day. It's basically the max that we can produce. So that's what we call our, it also shows us our firm capacity. So our firm capacity is what we use, which is basically what we could produce if our largest well were to go out. And then you see that light gray line at the bottom shows the demand over the past 3 years. So that demand shows basically the single highest day of water consumption for that month over the last 3 years. And then that blue line above it just basically shows the projection if we were to kind of grow at 3%. So we could potentially get up to 8.7 million gallons a day, which is quite a bit above our firm capacity. So this doesn't take into account well 19, which we should be getting completed and online this next fiscal year as well, which would bump that up to another 1.2. So we'd be up about 11.2 million gallons per day. So. And then this kind of shows our wastewater treatment capacity and the influent flows. We obviously track this as well to plan for any future projects that need to expand our capacity as the flow increases. So this shows our actual flows over the past 3 years, along with our projected flows based on that 3% max growth. You can see that those flows have been very flat over the past couple of years, and actually before the previous 3 years, there was quite a bit of a decline. It's about leveled out now. So that continuous dashed red line is what we're currently allowed to dispose of. I'm sorry, the dashed line is what we're actually allowed to dispose of per existing wastewater permit. But our limiting factor is that kind of those blue bars, which is our treatment capacity, which sits at 1.5 million gallons a day. So we're estimating in around 2022, 2023 is when we'll have to start planning and getting a project lined up to expand that with some near-term project that'll give us, another
So-
two. Go ahead.
That means we could expand our treatment capacity 300,000.
Under our existing permit,
And
correct.
not have a problem, but once we go above that, we've got to reapply for everything.
Yes.
Okay. Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Projected date for that, though, is based on the
God.
25 years out, maybe?
Yeah, it's hard.
At least,
yeah,
just based
at
on the growth.
This rate, yeah, it's
If you
quite
assume
a ways
3%,
out.
it's going to be a long
Yeah,
time.
you're
Right.
15, 20 plus. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas, probably assume it's, 3 is our max at this point, so assume it's half that, we're talking maybe 30, 50 years, but still needs to be planning for it.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
gotta generate the money for it.
Yeah, other things that may affect it, you may get some commercial, high, consumers or something like that, which may throw this up a little bit or off a little bit. So, but yeah, you're looking at quite a ways out, I think, at this point. So here, this is kind of a snapshot of that table 3 that I provided in the report. Basically, all the projects, there are 16 projects that are shown in that report over the next 5 years. So it's a total of 16 for 24.5 million. We currently have 8.4 million in grants that are secured, and then 8.7 million would be from our local funds. Keep in mind, this does include 2 of those projects that are not fully funded right now. So our East Main 2nd Street traffic signal project that we have identified there for $425,000 is not funded. And then also the multimodal station is currently underfunded. We have 3.9 secured, but there's quite a bit more of money that we need to receive in order to do that project. And then one additional project, we kind of touched on it earlier, but it's that intersection of Santos and Jacktone in that area. So we'll be looking to add that project most likely next year, at least get it on here identified, and then look for a funding source after that. It's an ongoing problem with our crews out there. So just
What's that?
Santos and Jacktone intersection by the truck stops there.
Where the traffic signal is.
Correct.
Okay.
So the surface improvements to that intersection it's just an ongoing battle, so. And then from that, just diving into kind of this is next year's capital project, so a total of $5.2 million worth of projects, $3 million in local, and then 2.2 from outside funding. And then here, I'll just kind of go over, minus the road projects, which I already did. So for our water capital projects next year, so we have our well 19 pump station. Basically, we'll install the pump and motor. It'll install all the site improvements. It'll connect into our existing water system. So that's located out at the Misson Sports Park. That project will take place next year. Our well 12 modifications, we're currently working on kind of state approval, or at least they're okay for us to start pumping at well 12. Before we move forward, we're hoping that would happen. That project would also move forward this year.
Which one is well 12?
Well 12 is the water tower just behind Tractor Supply.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be a very important well for our non-potable system, just to add redundancy out there. And then our transportation fund projects, so at our Colony Hoff traffic signal, we've got $400,000 in CMAQ funds, and then $260 coming from our transportation fund, basically installing a traffic signal at that intersection. We're currently working through the approvals with Caltrans, and our design's already underway. So, and then finally, just our miscellaneous funded project. This is the CDBG funded senior center building improvements that we're planning on doing, which updates the facade, provides outdoor seating area, patio, and installs a new HVAC unit. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions about this presentation or the report that you had in your packet.
Save my question for later.
Why?
This is not about this part right now,
Oh,
but don't let me forget.
I have one question about the multimodal station. Your figure there shows $11 million. Is that the total cost, or is that for everything above the, because ACE is gonna install part of that. They're gonna put in the quote-unquote station so that people can get on and off the train, buy their tickets, and have a place to park. So is the 11 million above that?
It is, yeah.
What are we planning to do with 11 million bucks?
Parking structure.
It's something that we need to sit down with ACE about, but there's a lot of amenities, I think, in and around that area. Industrial Avenue really needs to be upgraded or reconstructed. Parts of 4th Street there, at least the link between that and Stockton Avenue. It's something that I think will get narrowed down once we actually get a consultant on board and kind of do a feasibility and kind of traffic analysis and really find out what it all is needed as far as the infrastructure in the surrounding area. That's kind of our budgetary number that we've put in place at this time. Kevin may be able to add on that a little bit. But.
Yeah, just a little background on the $11 million number. We did speak with an architect who was familiar with the Manteca, how much it cost to do that station there. So we based a bit off that. And James is exactly right. We added some of the offsite improvements we just kind of guessed at with Stockton Avenue, the intersection at Stockton and 4th and Industrial, just to have a number in there. But we're really not going to know that number until we start the design process with that $3.9 million.
We're gonna start that pretty soon, I
Yeah.
assume, because everything ACE is saying is 4 years from now, there's gonna be trains running through this town.
And that's some of the coordination we need to do with ACE. You know, obviously, if we're there first and have the infrastructure in, it makes things a lot easier for them. If they happen to come in first, what are they including in their project as far as parking, restrooms, ticket booth, et cetera? So we're working with RTD to have an agreement to kind of run some of the money through them. And then we're also meeting with ACE and coordinating the infrastructure that goes along with this.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? This is discussion only, so no action yet.
These projects do end up in the budget that I'll have.
Right, okay. Reports. Chief Ormonde.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Honorable City Council, members of the public. Just a few items. We just finished the first quarter of the the calendar year on March 31st. And just wanted to report out, we've had a slight increase in Part 1 crimes reported. When I talk about slight, I mean really slight. A total of 8 more crimes reported for the first quarter. Of those, a large portion of them are theft or grand larceny. So, a quick update on the LPRs. Over the first 2 months, we've had approximately 95 hits or activations from our license plate readers that are installed. Currently, approximately 7 of the 12 are installed. We're still working in concert with Caltrans to get the remaining ones up and running. Of those 95 hits, we've had 4 stolen vehicle recoveries, 4 lost or stolen license plate recoveries, and we also had a crime vehicle located and the suspects detained and turned over to the originating agency. That's all I have on crime. I do want to make a note that tomorrow, April 10th, will be the 12-year anniversary of the passing of Officer Bob Wingett.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to report on our water use for the month of March. We had a 50.8% reduction from
15?
50 50%, very. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with our rain. That brings our running 12-month average to 24.2%. So good news, but I think it's just a freak deal.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, before you is a graph as it relates to our groundwater levels that we continuously monitor. Excuse me, continuously monitor. At the end of 2018, we had a small decrease, but currently we're up 2.3%, 2.3% or 2.3 feet increase from last year's average. Now, that's just the first 3 months of this year, so we anticipate that this is going to continue.
So am I reading this right, that from 2007 to now, we've lost 5.5 feet?
Yes,
Or
yes.
We're down 5 feet.
We're down 5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, from
So
2007.
this is depth.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Okay. All right.
So it's starting to look better. The groundwater's starting to come back a bit. But even before the drought, the water tables, and it's not just here, it's throughout the area, had seen the same issue. So, but I think we're heading the right direction.
Okay. Any questions for Ted? Mr. Stevens?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Zeiderbar?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Peace?
Nothing to report. Updated project list for you guys next month, so.
Oh, boy. Ms. Lucchese?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Werner?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Euchre?
Nothing. Wow.
Mr. DeGraff?
I have a few things. I have one question. Maybe I need to ask James. I don't even know if you know the answer to this or not. Caltrans did the work. I believe it was Caltrans did the work under Jacktown the 99. There's a portion on the northbound lane where they cut out. Looks like they're going to make a little turnout there, and all the construction's gone and done from that area. But there's about a 8-inch section that was cut out that's never been filled in and looks like it needs to be replaced. And I don't know if Caltrans plans on fixing that or if they just left it and gonna leave it there, but.
Is on the northbound one, right?
Yeah, like it's right in between the off-ramp and the on-ramp. It's like right underneath the freeway. There's a little strip in there that looks like it was gonna be cut out to make like a little turnout. And it's never got filled back in, but the construction crew's long gone, so I don't know if they're ever gonna fix that or not, but.
Yeah, I don't know the answer, but we can find out.
Is it under the overpass?
Just on the north side of the
Okay, I know what you're
overpass.
talking about, yeah.
Yeah, they've also been doing some work on the overpass over here, but they haven't on Main Street. They haven't given us really a project schedule or notification or anything like that. So
That's on my list of questions.
yeah, so we're going to reach out to their project managers for both those projects and hopefully get a schedule from them, and then hopefully we can send out a next alert to the public.
Line of traffic was a nice surprise this morning, or yesterday morning, whatever. Yeah, exactly. The other thing, Chief, I have a question for you. Earlier today or yesterday, press release about the incident at Starbucks. Could you just provide a little bit of background on that and what transpired there, beyond what was in the press release, or?
I probably can't expand too much more, just because it involves multiple agencies and multiple crime scenes.
Okay. Well, my point was, appreciate what the police department does, and I think just the fact that the public is, our community is willing to step in and try and stop something like that. I don't want to encourage people to go try and be vigilantes, but at the same time, I think it speaks to the quality of members in our community and what our public safety people do. So just want to say thank you to everyone who was involved, and keep up the good work keeping our town safe. I suppose you'll have some more to speak on this past weekend's events, so I'll let you speak on that.
Aren't you going to thank the audience?
And as always, yes. I actually have more to say about that than normal.
You actually have some people to say?
I do. I think.
something before I do if you want. I don't know what you have to say.
Well, I just, the First Responders Appreciation event was a really good event, and glad to see that we do that and support our first responders. But lastly, yes, as always, I make a point to thank the people in the public for being here, but I feel like over the past 2 years that I've been on the council, at certain points, people have made the comment that maybe the city council's not taking action on things, but my point is we don't know about it unless you're here to tell us about what's going on or unless you're communicating with us. So I appreciate you being here, I appreciate you listening to us, and I appreciate your feedback. So thank you. That's all I have to report.
Nice job. Mr. Restuccia.
And this is the second largest crowd we've had, so it's good you thanked
By
everybody.
a long shot.
No, we had our First Responder Appreciation Day this weekend, Saturday. It turned out really nice. We had in excess of 400 people, according to some people that counted, I guess. Our guest speaker was the sheriff of Stanislaus County. I think he did a great job, so I really appreciate everybody that showed up and showed their support for our first responders. So next year, it'll be the first Saturday of April again.
I'm a sign ready.
Vice Mayor Parks.
I cede my time to you.
I was gonna take it anyway.
Nothing to report.
Some of mine have already been handled. Just a couple. One, are the cameras at the recycling center ready to go? Because what got dumped there today was a joke. And we've got to do, now it's starting to pick up as the weather gets better. And we've got to catch somebody, or it's just going to get worse.
Yes, we went out today, we went and took a look at the cameras. We got some information that we're going to be working with the police department tomorrow. The large amount that got dumped was just outside the camera view. We're going to be readjusting the cameras to try to catch that. And we have one more camera to install that's on the exit so that we can catch the license plate readers. Our plan is to get that finished hopefully this week or the beginning of next so we can get that camera installed. And then make sure that all the cameras are pointed in the right direction, the most common. We thought we had them, but we just missed that person. Apparently dumped a whole truckload of just garbage. Yeah.
What did they dump? Garbage?
No, it was probably 4 truck axles, a couch that would probably cover half that dais, some cardboard, some trash. I mean, it looked like they actually drove up with a dump truck and just dumped it out. That's what it looked like. And, people work really hard down there to keep that place looking decent, and then all it takes is one yahoo that comes in there like that, and it just ruins the whole thing.
We did find some addresses in that pile of trash that we're turning over to the police department. So unfortunately, I think we got one license plate of somebody dumping stuff off. That particular, the person that dumped off the majority of it, we just missed that. So.
Well, as long as we're working on it.
Yes.
Another thing is, with this wind today, are we talking to people about dust control? I mean, downtown, my mother-in-law's at Bethany Home, and I went to visit, and I caught hell because of the dust blowing across from Ripon Christian. And then I noticed that the lot down at the bottom of the overpass, same thing. It was blowing down Stockton Avenue like nobody's business. So, that's the kind of stuff that I don't like to hear about, because then it becomes, why aren't you guys doing what you're supposed to do? So.
In the contractor's defense, it had to blow the water off first, then dry the ground out, then blow.
Well, it worked, because that coming off of the RC place, it was bad. Yeah. Okay. The other one I'll hold, because I'll talk to you off camera, because I don't want to get it. I got a couple of phone calls about something else, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, just air it out. Come on.
Well, it's about the sycamore trees. This is probably the worst day in the world that we could have had as much wind as we had with those trees. And just drive down Main Street and take a look, and then drive down Jack Tone and take a look, and it's not good. Other than that, I'm done. Anybody else? Do we have somebody here from the women's? Come on up. We don't have anything else to do, so just relax, right?
People in the back available here. On the minutes, it should say hashtag small town problems.
After I'm done, you can come up. Huh? Go ahead. I plan to.
Yeah, move away. Move away.
Get in the camera.
Yeah, get in the camera view, Leo.
I don't need that. One of the items that was adopted on the consent agenda was a proclamation for the Women's Center Youth and Family Services. And they are here mainly because sexual assault is an intolerable and violent crime that can touch each and every person in a community. And no one organization can eliminate sexual assault on its own, but we can work together as a community to inform our residents about what can be done to prevent sexual violence. The Women's Center Youth and Family Services has been a leader in Ripon in addressing sexual violence. They've made available a wide range of programs and services to assist victims and their families. These include support services for victims, a 24-hour helpline, assistance and support for medical appointments and court appearances, and counseling services. We also provide prevention, education services to schools, churches, and civic groups, as well as to law enforcement and criminal justice personnel. And in recognition of their ongoing efforts and commitment to ending the tragedy of sexual violence in our community, we're going to declare the month of April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. With that, I have a proclamation to present to you. If you have a few words to say.
So hi, my name is Saul. I'm from the Women's Center Youth and Family Services, and I was very thankful. And I'm honored to be here today to accept this proclamation on behalf of the Women's Center Youth and Family Services. And I'd just like to remind you guys that 1 in every 6 women, 1 in every 33 men, 1 in 4 girls, and 1 in 7 boys is sexually assaulted in their lifetime. But with our services, hopefully that we can proceed in helping these families and victims and overcoming the what happened to them, of course. But thank you, and again, we are very grateful for your support and continued support.
Hold on. You don't get off with only one.
I just wanted to say thank you for all that you and the organization does, and I would like to present this certificate of recognition on behalf of Assemblyman Flora to you and the organization. Women's Center Youth and Family Services Sexual Assault Awareness Month. On behalf of the California State Assembly, I'd like to thank the Women's Center of San Joaquin County for recognizing April 2019 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Thank you for your commitment to the safety and well-being of the city of Ripon. It is a great privilege and honor to represent you. Thank you. Signed this day, Assemblymember Heath Flora.
Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. Meeting adjourned. Oh, we got the successor agency.
Yep. Son, I thought you were going to stay here till late.
I do. So this is going to take a while.
Yeah, I've got some questions on this.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll delegate it over to you.
I have more questions.
So moved.
We will call the April 9th, 2019 meeting of the Ripon Redevelopment Successor Agency to order. Roll call.
Director Mike Restuccia. Dean Euchre.
Here.
Daniel DeGraff.
Here.
Vice Chairman Jake Parks.
Here.
Chairman Leo Zuber.
Present. Wow, we actually have an audience too.
I know, normally everybody files
This
out.
portion of the meeting is set aside. You guys
guys can go.
For public comment, anyone wishing to address the agency? Now's the time. Nobody? Then we'll move on. We need approval of the minutes for the meeting of December 11th, 2018.
So moved. Second.
Oh, we're doing this verbally, correct? Okay, no machines. Dean, you're off the hook. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Item 1, consent calendar. 1.1, bills, invoices, and payments. There are 3, all debt service for bonds, correct? Any questions? Then we need a motion.
So moved. Second.
I'll let the secretary figure it out. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Questions? Apparently not.
None.
Thank you guys.
Meeting adjourned.
Oh, you got it in nonetheless.
Now, that is definitely the most we've ever had for this.
Since when did you know that you were a felon?
I'm a felon?
You are a felon.
When?
I'm great. Yeah, well,
I see you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he lives over on the good side of town.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, my daughter's lived here for years, so we're here all the time. I told my wife, I said, if I ever meet Tracy, I'm gonna. When I told her I was done paying attention to Tracy politics.
Yeah, I've heard Tracy Politics has turned into a shit show over the last year, 2 years.
I'm looking. You guys are done?
Yeah.
Is this normal? Tell me this is not normal.
No, this is about normal.
About normal.
This is about
On a
normal.
good night, we're done before 7.
Yeah. Well, most of the time Tracy's going to be done before 11.
We were at that. There were a couple of